Are you ready to stop searching outside yourself and deepen the connection that matters the most?
Welcome to the Sacred Exchange podcast. We are your hosts, John and Catherine Graham.
After years of navigating our own spiritual paths, we have learned that true transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the honest and vulnerable moments when we are willing to journey within with a curious mind and heart.
Every week, we invite you to journey with us as we share our spiritual ahas, our raw truth, and deepen our understanding of the human experience.
This is a space of vulnerability and healing, where souls meet, hearts transform, and love leads the way. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Exchange, where this week we're going to be talking about divine timing and accepting life as it comes to us.
Yes, and it's just knowing that whatever your situation is, whatever part of life you're at, it is perfect exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
And trusting that good, bad, indifferent, there is a plan and there's a reason.
Yeah.
And most of the time we don't know what that is until many, many years later, but
yeah. And that's what I was just going to say is that, I remember for years hearing that there's a divine plan, there's divine timing, and you have to trust and all of this sort of stuff. And it's absolutely real. But it took me a lot of years to truly be able to walk through so many experiences that were demanding that I trust in the divine timing of things before I could actually surrender to trusting to the divine timing of things. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like, everything's just working out all the time and all of this stuff that's happening in my field right now is perfect. It wasn't like that. There's a lot of resistance.
And how many of us try to I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Plan it all out.
And this is how it's going to be because I said it's this way. And then you go to do something and, maybe X is fine and then Y is not really the way it was. And then, now Z's out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, you start to realize after a while, it's like, sure, you can go through your whole life trying to plan, try to have backup plans and backup plans to your backup plans, or you can just trust that whatever, still live, do the things that you're going to do, but trust that it's all for purpose.
Yes. And I think it was about 3 years ago now that I realized I just needed to hold on to the vision, right? And let go of the structure of the plan, right? Because for me, it's like my brain is limited based on what it knows in the past. My heart is like what my vision is. That's my heart has drawn that forward. So my brain has an idea of, this is how we could create this structure based on all of this information we have from the past, right? But as I start to follow through with holding that vision and moving towards what that vision is, that's where I had to let go of what the brain was telling me I had to do and instead allow God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, to be the one that's like, I will actually create the structure here. And then my mind's job is to know when to take action, know when to step back, like a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah.
So, and it's difficult at times because the brain really does step in and go, this is what it's supposed to look like, or this is how I want it to look. And often what the universe is requiring of people, like especially when you're holding a vision or you've got an idea of this is what I want to work towards, it's not like the universe goes, that's what you want, here it is. They go, okay, let me build you to be strong enough to be able to hold the frequency of this thing that you want, right?
Yeah, it wasn't until the last couple of years that I really started to see that there is a plan. And it took a lot of looking at my own life.
Yeah.
And looking how things that I thought didn't matter have added up to where I am today. And it's like, how perfect is that?
Yeah.
All these little things had to happen.
Yeah.
To be in this place.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like playing a video game and being sent on a side quest. You know, and you go on this side quest and then you get that one special hidden gem or whatever it might be that you get to bring back into the regular game. And it's like, it is a key piece for this entire story to play out or to fight the big bad guy at the end of the game or whatever. That, throughout our lives, I think we often feel like we're going on these side quests or these detours and thinking, I don't know how this is a part of the plan, or I don't know why this is happening. And that's where we get into kind of argument with the flow of things and how the universe is showing up.
I didn't ask for it to be this way.
Yes, I didn't say it could be like this. It had to be like this. I laugh about it only because I know that I used to be so attached to what my idea of how things were supposed to be. Like, I was so attached to it. And I caused myself so much stress and so much suffering and so much like angst and stress and anxiety over things that I really had no control over. And I just had to let go, but I couldn't.
And here's the thing, and we've talked about this before too, is that how many of these things are based off of somebody else's, like, it should be this way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not based off of what maybe some of it, but a lot of it is we do this comparison. Well, this is what somebody should be doing at this age, or this is what this person looks like because they're this.
Yeah.
And then we put ourselves in this box where it's like, okay, well, I have to be this way because this is what everybody else has said and everybody else has done, and I got to fit that box.
Yeah, and then you actually start fighting against your own natural flow and your own natural expression.
Rather than surrender to what is going to be and still live, still do your things, but just kind of go with the flow, right? It's know that whatever it is, it will be okay, and whatever that is has purpose.
Yeah.
It has significance. And don't try. I mean, I tried to do this for a while. Was like try to keep tabs on things where it's like, oh, I seen this bird, or I seen this, and I seen this, and it's like, okay, and how is that going to play out, and where does this piece fall in? Because that in itself will start to drive you a little wonky as well, because you're constantly looking. And I got to a point where it's like, no, you need to surrender that too, where it's like just trust that is there, okay, acknowledge it, and kind of, okay, anecdote, yes, this was here, blah, da, 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 and continue on. And it comes back, well, then that's kind of how that all works together.
Absolutely. I lost my train of thought there. It came in and it left all at the same time.
Oh, sometimes that's just how it goes sometimes, isn't it? Right? Like, we have a plan, and that plan just...
I had a plan of what I was going to say, and it's just gone. And to just accept that when that does happen, I think that is probably the biggest challenge for people, and was one of my greatest challenges too, was learning to accept life as it was showing up, not having to fight against how life was showing up. Because when you're able to recognize that there's a divine plan for everything, then when things start to show up in your life that are perhaps not your preferred reality or your idea of how things should be, to me now I can go, oh, this is interesting. Why is this showing up in my field? Like, what belief system do I have inside of me that is contributing to the creation of what this is? And it's an opportunity to get curious, where an old version of me, when life would happen, I'd be like, this is not how this is supposed to happen.
This is not what I ordered.
Get angry at God, or get angry at the universe, or get angry at the people out here, or the situation that's happening. And again, just causing myself a lot of unnecessary suffering because I just simply wouldn't accept it. And acceptance is like the easiest, most softest way to be able to move through life. But at the same time, we haven't been taught to just accept, right? We're told accept differences with people within a classroom or within a workplace or within your community or whatever. And we have a hard enough time with that.
Yeah.
You know, but and then add in life experiences, and especially there's a lot of life experiences that nobody would ever, you know, sit at home and visualize like, oh, I want, you know, this horrible thing to happen, or I want this relationship to break down, or any, like we don't intentionally want these things to happen, and yet they do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's learning to accept that this is a part of life. It is a part of life cycles, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of, like, we had this conversation, I bet I say that 100 times, where it's like, we've had this conversation. You know, if of all the odds of us being here, doing this, you think of, there's plenty of different things. We could be a chair. So there's significance in the journey that we have. There's reasoning. There's a plan. If we were planned to be a chair, we would be a chair.
Yeah.
And this would be our purpose.
Yeah.
Our purpose is to just be in this plan.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
And
Well,
be okay with it.
It's so interesting too, because I know just from working with clients for so long, there's a lot of people that are looking for their purpose, right? Mm-hmm. They're looking for meaning in their life, or looking for what is the impact that I get to have on this world, or how do I express my gifts or whatever. And I think we often get very caught up in this idea that our purpose is connected to the career choice that we have, right? Sure. Where to me the purpose isn't attached to a career, it's not attached to a physical outcome or anything like that. It is more, what is the energy that you're showing up as, right? So for myself, I go, my purpose is to love, right? And how that's expressed is going to be, it shows up in a myriad of different reasons. And yeah, I've actually been living my purpose since I was a child. And I've also got to experience what lack of love looks like, what separation from love looks like, all of this sort of thing, which helps me kind of understand it more or embody it more, or notice where am I not being loving or whatever. And that's the purpose. What I do as a career, not connected to that at all, although I can bring it into my career. You know, like I think you could, and this is no offense to anybody who works at McDonald's, but you could have a career at McDonald's and change more lives than a transformational speaker.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, what is the level of connection you're giving to people? Do you see people? Do you witness people? Do you love on people? That's your purpose. And that's true for every single one of us. Our purpose is to love. And our purpose is to express that love in whatever way makes us feel most alive. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. And yet we argue with it, right?
Yeah, and I go to even more simpler context of purpose. We are here to experience in our own way what life is, whatever that is, however it is. That experience that we take away and that perspective that we have of that experience is ours. That's unique.
Yeah.
It may be similar to your experience or to anybody else, but it is yours from your perspective, so it is a unique experience.
Yeah. That
experience adds to our collective, right? If we are all energy, we're all one collective pile of goo.
Yeah.
You've had this experience, you've had this experience. Yes, it may be you had McDonald's, but you had a Big Mac, or you had this. Yeah. It's a different experience that adds to the experience bucket.
Yeah.
So our purpose is just to gather, right? Yeah. I mean, that is what we as humans have been doing all along, really, is hunter-gatherer, whatever. But this is very much the same, whereas you're gathering these experiences, and these interactions with other people add to those experiences, which adds to that bucket.
Yeah. And I would also say that we're also, I think a part of our purpose is also about creating, right? Creating new, whether it's creating a new relationship, creating a new gadget, creating a painting, creating a story, whatever it might be. When you say about gathering, I'm like, yes, and creating. Humans throughout centuries have been creating, right? And so it's like, they're the most basic concepts that we have. Love, gather, create. How simple is that?
Yeah.
And asking ourselves, have I loved today? Have
And
I
all of them
gathered
create a new experience.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Have I gathered information today? Have I created something today? Perfect. I'm living on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, don't look for this big, okay, so everything and nothing is big. Everything and nothing is special. But I think people spend a lot of time looking for that, like, that big, I'm going to do this. This is my purpose to lead 100,000 people to whatever.
It's totally me.
But again, when you look at it that way, you're setting that intention. You're setting, you're kind of setting yourself up. You can have that belief or whatever and continue to focus and manifest that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't hold yourself to it so tight, right? It is, I have a great idea.
Yeah.
All right, I don't have plans. I have ideas.
Yeah.
The idea is that I want to reach 100,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the idea. It's not the plan.
And that's, for me, I call it my vision, right? Like, my vision at this point in time, if I could get 3 million people to read my book, right? And they tell 3 people each. That is 9 billion people. Am I correct on the math? Or would it be 9 million? 9 million. Okay. So I guess I would have to meet 1 billion people. Which is just like it. I understand how ridiculous those numbers sound, but it's like, okay, so I'll just start with 10. If I can get 10 people to read it and have them pass that on to 3 people, then it's 30. And then it can expand. And not that I personally need to have that connection with them, but it's just about holding that vision. Ultimately, what do I want that to look like? Just love consciousness being embodied.
And being a person that has read the book, you don't have to get people to do anything. People want to read this book. It is an experience. I don't want to plug too hard on your book, but it is. I think it is. It's an experience that people can reflect on their own lives, their own journey.
Yeah.
And they will have some huge things that come up.
Yeah.
And huge takeaways.
Yeah.
And ahas and all those great things.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need anybody, like, you don't need to get them to do anything because it
Fair
will
enough.
just...
Fair enough. But for me, I am one of those people that's like, I do have a message and I do want to get it out to as many people as possible. And this is the vision that I hold. This is the idea. And I've got a bunch of different ideas to help me get to that vision, but also I don't have a fucking clue.
But you trust that you were...
Whatever it's meant to be in this lifetime is exactly what it's going to be. And I can trust that.
Yeah.
So, and at the same time...
there was a plan for you to write this book.
Yes.
Not your plan?
No.
Because the way the book is, it's a collection of things that have happened in life.
Yeah.
In your life.
Yeah. That made it all perfect.
Right.
Like, it's to see it all written out in a timeline and go, I've been working on this since back here or whatever. Yeah. And to see that it's all been a part of this plan for this. It's that part is absolutely incredible. But I think, again, I've lost my train of thought. It's funny. I keep losing words since yesterday where it's like the word is there and then it's just gone.
It doesn't want to stay.
Yeah.
When that happens,
it's a part of the plan too. I wasn't meant to say it.
No, and while you're thinking about what you're missing, I do understand that it's hard for people to just swallow that, to say, oh, there's a plan. Oh, yeah, well, why about this and why about that? Why is this so hard? Why has it got to be this way? What? Because it is.
Yeah.
And again, it's difficult to swallow that pill, but when you start looking at a bad situation, right? Okay, why is this happening to me? Well, it's not happening to you. It's happening.
Yeah.
You're a participant in that situation, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
But it's not happening to you. Unless, I mean, things are physically happening to you. But, I mean...
Oh, and this is where it gets tricky, right?
There's still purpose in whatever that is.
Yes.
Knowing why or why it is hard to say until, eventually it will be reflected back that there was purpose for it.
Yes. And I think that's where it definitely gets tricky. Like when we use some of this spiritual language of everything happens for a reason. We'll try and explain to a 2-year-old who just went through a really abusive situation that this is a part of God's divine plan, right? And it in those moments, I don't believe any of the harmful things that ever happened to us that God was like, oh, I want this person to go through this shitty thing, right? Like, I don't believe it looks like that. But I do believe that there is a plan for everything that a person has to endure while they're here on earth. That God has grace and mercy for whatever those experiences might be for both the victim and the perpetrator. And that there is purpose that can come out of it. Right. I seen a video a while back that was about a woman who worked in the porn industry, and she actually went through basically a reckoning of like coming to her own spiritual understanding, her own understanding of God and that sort of thing. And then she felt very ashamed for what she had done in the past, leading the life that she had. And one of the ministers that she was speaking to was like, now that you have come to this stage where you're at, it's not about being ashamed of who you are, but now you actually are one of the people who can understand other people who are in this business. So go and talk to them. Be their friends. Be the person that can hold that space for them, which I think is so true, that God doesn't call forward perfect people to do divine work or anything like that. God calls forward the broken people. He calls forward the ones who are ashamed of what they've gone through and whatnot, because how do you reach someone who's in a deep level of shame? It's not by finding someone who's perfect, who's like, yeah, you shouldn't be like that, right? It's finding someone who has been at that ground level and went, yeah, I get it. I'm here with you.
Or it's you put them in these challenges, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they're these big things, like these big events that happen in lives are made or do happen, I believe, so you move. So you have a very traumatic event that's causing you some action within you, whether it's now or later. It's going to have that big impact. That's going to cause you to do something.
Absolutely. I remembered what I was going to say before, which was essentially like, I understand as well now when I think about this vision that I have about reaching all of these people. For me, it's like, if that wasn't something that was true, I wouldn't have had the thought of it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like spirit, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it will bring forward what your calling is. You'll be the one who hears it, and nobody else might hear it. Nobody else might understand it or whatever. And yet, if it is something that's alive and active in you, you're going to hear it, and it's about learning to trust that more than the external stuff or the other people in your life.
And the more you, I don't want to say fight against it, or the more you ignore some of these things, the louder they get.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, it'll show up again, show up again, it'll show up again, it'll show up again. And you said something that was really great there, what I thought, is this, we look back at our experiences and we're, embarrassed or ashamed of the things we've done. But I think you're looking back at your experiences. Okay. Your experiences are what help you to relate to people, like you just said with this woman, right? This was her experience. Use that your experience to relate to other people. So all of these experiences we're gathering are for that collective, so we can relate to each other on this level playing field.
Yeah. It's like, it's perfect, right? And what's so interesting too, because I've done a lot of work around releasing shame around my experiences. And it's like shame only settles into the body because there's a part of you that has actually outgrown that experience and can now see that there were other options. Mm. Right? Which means you've already outgrown whatever level of consciousness you were in at the time you were making these choices.
Yeah.
And now we blame ourselves or shame ourselves for what we couldn't have known had we not gone through that experience and learned, I always kind of laugh, like with kids around a hot stove, right? All adults are like, oh, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. And it's usually not until the child actually touches the stove and burns themselves that they're like, oh, it's hot.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to have that experience, right?
You have to have that experience. And we try and prevent our own kids from going through the experiences that we've gone through because it's like, yeah, that was painful and that hurt and I still carry shame from that or whatever, but they have to go through it.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think I know we learned and continue to learn is that no matter what, no matter how, as parents out there, you can try to undo your past. Don't make the same mistakes I did, all this kind of crap. No matter what, they're going to do their own thing, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to have their own experiences, and they're going to be similar. But don't try to prevent the things that you did or undo the things that you did or anything like that. Just let things happen the way they're going to, because it's a totally different experience.
It's a totally different experience. I do like to share with the kids, like, I did do something similar, or I had a similar situation in a relationship, and this is what happened. This is what I learned from it. This is what I wish I could have seen at the time, but I couldn't see it or whatever. And I can usually see, like, where they've got their own kind of blind spots to the situation, or they don't see how they're contributing to parts of the situation, which is fine because I also did the same thing.
But they're going to take that experience that they're having with you in that conversation, right?
Yeah.
And now their experience is going to be influenced.
Yeah.
And now it's their experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the other big thing too is, like, in this idea of shame, right? Shame is such an interesting emotion for us to carry. And it's something that we do to others. We do shame others quite often. Anytime that we don't accept someone, we are shaming them for who they are, right? And it was a blind spot that I had because I was like, oh, I'm all accepting for people unless they're like this or like this or like that, right? And when we shame another person, it is like putting a prison on them. And when we shame ourselves, it is also like inserting ourselves into a prison. And I do feel like if we could unlock shame, right? If we could share what our experiences are without anybody going, oh, you shouldn't have done that, or pointing fingers, or even us pointing our fingers at ourselves, to just go, oh, that's what an interesting human experience you've had.
Right.
There would be so much more freedom for each of us.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the reason we shame people is because when people do that, they're hiding their own stuff.
Well, yes,
it's that deflection.
Yeah.
Because I can't say I've never shamed people. I know I have, but more and more I'm like, there's no benefit in that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'd much rather in a situation is have a conversation.
Yeah.
Not shame somebody into, oh, you shouldn't do this. This is bad or whatever. It is, okay, go ahead, whatever. But just keep in mind, these are the things, right?
Yeah.
Just conversate about your experience with that situation rather than shame them to say, oh, why did you do that? Or why are you this way? It's like, you're living your experience.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge? I'm just me.
Well, and that's the big question, right? Is who am I to judge? Because you're absolutely right. We only shame or judge other people, which our judgments are what causes the shame for people in the first place. But when we're shaming or judging others, it's always three fingers pointing back at us, right? And so essentially it's like we're trying to alleviate ourselves of the guilt that we carry for the shame that we have for all of the times that we've been these imperfect humans. And we try and project that guilt onto someone else to get all eyes on them and get the eyes off of us.
Yeah.
But it's like we're all just human, right? And yeah, there's going to have been mistakes made along the way.
And all of these little parts are a part of the plan. This
Yeah.
is where the intricacy comes.
Exactly. Like, I love watching bloopers of TV shows that we enjoy, of like the actors stepping out of line or improving or laughing or whatever. And those are always a new take, right? And so if you take the word mistake and you go, it's a mistake, right? Oh, we get a do-over. So now the director needs to go action and we start all over again.
Yeah.
And what we end up getting is a collection of bloopers of our own lives, of all of the mistakes that we've taken. And we can, put it together in a video to be like, hey, these are all of the ways I've screwed up in my life. But let's celebrate it. Because every screw up that we have, every failure that we have, every mistake that we've made, it is a part of that experience, right? And it's the growth, it's the evolution of who we are.
I don't think they're mistakes. It is just, like you said, it's evolution. It is, sure, we call them mistakes or we call them,
a failure or whatever. Yeah.
But that's a new experience.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting to me too, like the idea of failure, like say last week with the book when I was trying to format it, right? And there was a failure that happened because it didn't turn out exactly as I wanted it to. But what it actually gave me was an opportunity to figure out what is actually going wrong here, what needs to be adjusted slightly. And then you're back to the drawing table, you give it a try, and eventually you get there.
Yeah.
And now I know for the next time I write a book, here are some steps that I can do to help me with formatting in the future.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that a little bit last week, where it's like you learn, by failure, you learn what to do and what not to, like,
Yeah.
what works for you and what that scenario is and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You know what not to do, or that didn't work the way I wanted it to, so I do it this way.
Yeah. And like, why not just celebrate it? Let's get excited about it. Like, oh, I learned 500 ways today how not to do something.
Yeah. And more I find, there's times where I will have an experience. I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this. I'm going to do it this way. And I get to whatever I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, now I forget
Yeah.
that way I was doing it, and I find a new way to experience whatever that is.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this worked, this worked well, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how did I do that again?
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, it was kind of like this, but then it's just a little different than what the original experience was.
Yeah.
So you find new ways,
Yeah. So bringing it back to this idea of acceptance of how life is showing up or how things are unfolding, what would you say was the biggest catalyst of change to your emotional response to how life was showing up for you? Like, what was a moment or an experience that you went through that it was like, I've got no choice but to surrender to this? Or I am just learning how to accept this because I can't fight it anymore.
That's a good question. I don't know, I've had a number of those that I've had come up in my life where it's like, okay, everything that I thought wasn't.
Yeah.
So you have to get perspective on that. Okay, well, if everything that was here today can be gone tomorrow, why hold so tightly to those things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying relationships. I'm not saying like physical stuff. It's just it was to me, that's kind of where the go with the flow kind of was born. Was like, it can be this way today, and tomorrow it's not there. So you gotta learn how to be that fluid.
Yeah.
Where it's okay, and it's it's a practice
Yeah.
because you get into a spot where it's like, oh no, this is the same, and then something happens and that gets changed. So really, there's been a number of different big events, but on every step, I'll continue to evolve.
Yeah.
Right? Where there's pieces that, okay, I got to this point, lost all this, or, my thoughts of what the world was like, and that's been reinvented. Well, then that, dies off or whatever evolves, and it's like, okay, well, there's still pieces of that are there.
Yeah.
But it evolves to what it is today.
Yeah.
And it's just, to me, not trying to bind yourself to this is how it always has to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has to be however it's going to be.
And then do you remember like how long you resisted the surrender process?
Oh, 90% of my life. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think, because we all have this idea like, no, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to do, blah, 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 blah. And this is how I want it to be. And then we get frustrated, oh, this isn't working out. So you try harder or you give more effort to this thing that you're trying to do and it doesn't work out. Then you give more effort and it's like at some point you just go, okay, you know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it going to be?
And I only ask these questions because I think it's important for those that are listening that it's not like you hear the information and you go, oh, so I'll just accept everything from now on, right? Because it can be really hard. And there's been times for myself where I'm like, so you want me to accept this too? Like, are you kidding me?
Well, we only have one moment. The moment is now, right?
Yeah.
So if you go from that perspective, if everything is right now, then that surrender becomes that much easier because now is right now.
Yeah.
And whatever's coming at me, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like, I'm here to experience. And I think those two kind of go hand in hand where it's like, sure, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do the things I want to do. But I'm not going to hold tight to this is how it has to be done or this is how it has to look. And when things come up that aren't in my favor or not my preferred reality, I'm going to be accepting of them as well, right? Okay, this is okay. It's not a sunny day today. That's all right.
Yeah.
Or, we got takeout and it wasn't great. Okay, well, that's fine too. Like, what did we learn from this? What is the takeaway? What is the, how can I help somebody else with their experience on this? And just collecting as we go all of those experiences to, one, help each other and evolve.
Yeah. And I would say, just based on the fact that I know us as well as what I do, I think you're very much more advanced in the idea of the surrender and just showing up and doing the things. Because I know I still come into like resistance with the way.
Trust me, there's resistance there.
Okay.
But it's like.
But it's like your resistance comes up and you surrender, right? And so I know there's times where you're talking about like, this thing and I couldn't surrender it or whatever, and then I surrendered it. And so I realize it still comes up for you, but the process just seems to be very quick for you, where you're always kind of trusting, always going with the flow, always just allowing.
But what's the other side to that?
Well,
right? And this is kind of where that has come up for me. It's like, okay, so if I don't accept, I can't change the weather.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it, right? And that's where you've really kind of led me, is to help me to go, right, like I could fight against this. I could get angry about this. Do I really want to be in the energy of anger right now? No.
Well, we can only control one, right?
Yeah.
We can, so you know, I know there's a lot of people that get upset by other people's actions and all this kind of other things, and everybody's
The news,
what's
the
going
weather,
on
the
in the
social
world,
media.
whatever.
Yeah.
But those people are just doing their thing.
Yeah.
You're getting mad at people having their experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are doing this to yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to get mad about anything. Because none of this, you could just get, hey, yes, life is just lifing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody's just having their own experience and adding to that collective experience, good, bad, indifferent. And who am I to say it should be any different?
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting to me too, like when you bring in, you know, other people making you angry or upset. It's like other people don't have that much power over how we're reacting to them or anything. And the only way anger can actually be felt in your body is if you already have anger sitting in your body, right?
Yeah.
It's like if I squeeze an orange, what's going to come out of that orange? Orange juice, because what's inside the orange is orange, right? Yeah. If I squeeze an apple, gonna get an apple. So when we're squeezed as people, what is coming out of us is something that was already inside of us. Mm-hmm. And so if we, you know, have a challenge that comes up and we get angry, it's not the situation that's caused the anger. You just had anger laying dormant and now it has an opportunity to come out. So it's like it is actually all in you. You know, if you've got this anger, well, why were you holding on to this anger? Like, let's get curious about that.
Why? What is it doing for you?
Yeah.
Other than probably making you sick or keeping you in a certain vibration or whatever. Yeah. Let it go. Surrender. What's the point of keeping it? You don't keep all of your stuff all the time for all eternity, so...
Yeah, but I think for a lot of people, it's really about getting curious about what are you actually angry about, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you see, you know, something happening on the news and it's hurting, say, innocent children, just as an example, right? A lot of us get angry over children being hurt. So then we have to kind of, on a microcosm, macrocosm, go, okay, so where in my life have I been an innocent child that's been hurt? Because the anger is most likely trying to protect that innocent child going, nope, never again is this going to happen, right? So if we can go within ourselves and find all of the innocent child parts of us that have been hurt and help them to heal and express and feel empowered and stuff, then we're not actually going to be so upset about that anger or that thing that's happening out there. Yeah. We're going to have more sovereignty within here. And what's also interesting to me is that the less I have in me of like a broken little child, the less opportunity there is for broken little children in the world. Yeah. You know, and that's where our power is.
Yeah, you have that residency, right? Like we all do.
Yeah.
And the more you let these things go, or the more you surrender these things, or it does transcend to other people.
Yeah.
It, you know, maybe not all the time, maybe not to every group, but the less angry you are about the stuff that you don't own, and you have these conversations, people are going to do the same.
Yes. Well, I think it starts to show that there's other possibilities, right? Like, I think of the world that I grew up in when I was younger, and I was, like all people, we're all very shaped and programmed by this world that we grow up in. Yep. And there wasn't a whole lot of examples of, like, let's have a loving relationship. Let's have vulnerable conversations. Let's, you know, expand in who we are and grow beyond our limits and all of that. A lot of the stuff that you and I talk about was not language that I grew up with. Yeah. And as far as I know, not language that a lot of people grew up with. And it's becoming more of a part of the conversation now. And the more it becomes part of the conversation, the more people are understanding it, right? It's like it shines a light on something that none of us even knew was there, right? And so we get to be that example.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's one that I think of that I've struggled with is, you know, support. You know, it's either getting support or giving support or whatever.
Yeah.
And now for me, it's more of like, I will just try to be as supportive as I can to whatever the cause may be.
Yeah.
If it's a voice or if it's work or whatever the case, it's just try to be that support. I'm not looking for the payback. I'm not looking for necessarily support for myself.
Yeah.
But I know what it's like to not be, and not to say for any situation. I just know that
you've gone through experiences where you, yeah,
not being supportive, and I know what it felt like, and it's like, no, I will do everything I can.
Yeah.
To try, but everybody's got their own piece to the puzzle, right? Everybody
Absolutely.
owns their own experience, and you can only support. You can put that support out there, but the other half, the receiver, has to take that and go, okay.
Yeah.
And do whatever with it.
I want to receive this,
right.
Or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like when you talk about not wanting that payback for giving that support, that was something else that's shifted for me in the past couple of years, where I used to, I guess, be kind of a give and take person, right? Like I've given this to them, so now they need to give something back to me. And if they're not giving me whatever, then I'm going to stop giving. Like,
yeah.
Very kind of childish
yeah.
behavior of give and take. And what has come through to me at this point in time is like, I wanted to give love to people, then I'd retract my love when I felt like I wasn't giving love back. And I kept going to people who were just needing to be filled up on love, going, you need to give love back to me. But it's like, if they're so devoid of love, why would I ever expect it back from them? And then it's like recognizing that I've got a relationship with God, the divine universe, whatever you want to call it. And there is limitless love that is available there. And there is limitless support that is available there. So why would I go to a limited person? And I myself am also a limited person, as seen in my give and take idea. Why would I go to someone else and demand, you owe me this, when I can receive it all from this, And so now it's like, I just give, and I trust that everything I'm meant to receive is just going to come to me through this, right? Which might show up through you or show up through another human, but that is coming through you to give back to me.
Yeah.
And it just kind of let me go, I'm just going to let that go now.
Yeah. I don't know when this happened, but I did have an experience that put me into a place or mindset of this, like I do, right? I do things. When I work.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it was, well, you don't have to do this or you don't have to do that. I hear that quite frequently. And it's like, I came to a point where it's like, okay, I don't have to, but if I do this, that frees you up to have the experience that you're going to have.
Yeah.
And isn't that like
just
the ultimate support, right?
Yeah.
Is to say, okay, I can do this, and that frees you up to be able to experience whatever you're going to experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's wrong? Like, you're not looking for that payback. You're not looking. Here's an opportunity for me to add to our collective experience by allowing you or whoever,
giving you a little bit of freedom,
not to do this experience because whatever, you're doing this experience because you have the opportunity to do that. It's like, that's a great thing. I don't know, we think it's like it's so simple.
Yeah.
But it's like, people complain about having to do the dishes or chores or laundry or whatever. It's like, these things all need to be done.
Yeah.
Do them with that honor of like, hey, I get to do these versus I have to do them.
Yeah.
And also do it with it, okay, I'm doing this, so you can do you. And you can do this.
And it's funny because there's a part of me right now that's like, thinking of before dinner when you come home from work and you start unloading the dishwasher and refilling it and stuff, and I'm always like, stop, because our children, they've got one responsibility, which is to unload the dishwasher and refill the dishwasher before and after supper, whatever. And I'm like, I see why you're doing it now, because you want to let them have more opportunity to experience the things that they want. And I keep saying to you, they need to experience responsibility.
Yes. They need to experience this not all the other things.
Well, because I think we do overall give them a lot of space to explore whatever they want to explore, and this to me is like this is their responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah,
not perfect.
no,
I'm just saying.
There's no requisite for you.
But here's an example, right, where it's like a chore, a thing that needs to be done, needs to be experienced, rather than that other thing that I'm wanting them to experience. They need to experience this piece.
Yeah.
Which that goes for all of us, right? Is we need to have these experiences.
Yeah.
And trusting that we need to have these experiences for purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen the reel where it's got Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory, and it's like me looking at my soul contract, and he's like, why
That's why.
yes, that's why. And I always kind of giggle at that, because anytime that I am asking why, like, why is this happening, you know, where is this coming from, or whatever, now I know. And it's like, it's a knowing. It's not just an intellectual knowing. Now I know it is always for a reason.
Yeah. And the thing, we kind of talked about this earlier in the week, and it was about something totally different, but it is not giving up on that either, right?
Yeah.
It is going, I trust,
there's
purpose, and, you know, I trust that this is the right way, and I'll just keep doing and make little adjustments and change my perspective and keep going, and not go, okay, nope, this isn't working, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. I'm going to totally change things another way. No, sometimes you just got to stay with it and just be like, yeah, okay, this is going to work. It doesn't feel like it, doesn't look like it. You know, this is all messed up, but there's something that I know this is the right thing. And just, I got to refine things, or I got to look at them a little differently, and just continue on that path and never give up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where a lot of us as humans struggle, right? Is we never think, how hard is it going to be for me to get there, right? And
we lack faith. We don't trust that.
Well, and we don't want the challenge either, right? No. I think our brains are designed in that kind of survival thing to avoid challenge as much as possible, right? Keep it comfortable, keep it safe. You know, keep it within what your known limits are, or whatever. And we are only getting stronger when we go through challenge. Mm-hmm. We're only deepening our faith and our knowing and our trusting when we go through challenge, if we don't allow our frustration or our limited beliefs of how things should be to be the thing that's guiding us through that, right? Agreed. And because here's the thing is, I have created such bigger challenges for myself by getting frustrated with the initial smaller challenges that I first got. Yeah. You know, and it's like, oh, we just created that to be an epic movie when it was really supposed to be like a commercial size event. Yeah. So, yeah. I think just allowing ourselves to remember that when there is challenges coming up, there is it's like a refining process, right? And we are being asked to grow beyond what our current limits are, which sometimes growth hurts. Oh, yeah. You know, getting growing pains as a kid, sometimes growing hurts. And sometimes it's letting go of all of these identities.
And this is like a lot of the things that we do or talk about, it's a practice.
Yes.
It's not finite. It's not, oh, I got to love, or I got to peace, or I got to happiness. Yeah. You're practicing these things every day.
Well, and I mean, when you think about like, I got to love, right? It's like, yes, I'm in love right now, and also I'm still arriving at love, because it's limitless. Abundance, limitless. Creativity, limitless. So we can be in the energy of these things and also still be arriving at these things. Where it's this continuous, I'm almost seeing like the figure 8 of like...
Well, that's why I call it practice. It's continuous, right? It's like, I'm never going to be perfect love or the perfect this. I'm going to practice so I know every little piece. Yeah. I'm going to continue to practice patience. I'm going to continue to practice humility. Yeah. Am I always going to get it right? No. But you know what? I'm going to be okay with that, because I can look at it and go, hey, well, at least we learned at this point, or this was a trigger, or this didn't work.
Yeah.
And the next time I can adjust, or
Yeah.
I can see things in a different way, or I can look at it over and over and go, okay, well, what was I thinking here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can,
Yeah,
I can get to that.
I mean, I'm seeing that it's like a
again,
football game.
It's practice.
Yes, but like for a football game, the players, they have to practice, they have to go through the training and stuff,
Yeah.
which is like that individual journey. And then the entire team comes together to face another team, and they have to look at the playbook, okay, what worked, and they watch the video from the other team and go, oh, what are they doing, or whatever. And it is just practice. Even when they're playing a game, it is just practice, right? It's figuring out what works, what doesn't work. And what worked last time is not necessarily going to work this time. Maybe the wind shifted slightly and now the ball's going to curve to the left, you know? And it is just practice, but make it a game, right? Don't take it so seriously. Life is not that serious. And if you can play it like a game, you win some, you lose some. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. It's bringing me back to the Johnny Cash song. Know when to hold 'em. Is
That's
that
Kenny Rogers.
That's Kenny Rogers. Well, I made
That's
a mistake.
okay. You just gave a voice to two country singers.
Yeah.
That's all good.
But yeah, just I think let life be a game, you know, and to trust that that game is always unfolding.
Don't take it so personal.
For you, yes.
And that experience is just think of it that way. I look at it like it's a jar, right? Here's another experience. Here's another experience. These are all good things.
Yeah.
They may not be all great things and preferred things that you want to happen, but they're all adding to the collective experience.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
and
good.
I mean, when you think of like making a cake, say, right? If I was to take each individual item of the ingredients of a cake, so I'm just making a basic cake. I've got flour, I've got oil, I've got eggs, I've got vanilla, and I've got sugar. The only thing that would actually taste good on its own is sugar. Everything else, it is the combinedness of it that actually makes it into the sweet treat that it becomes, right? Sugar, of course, we all love sugar, but even vanilla, you think you're gonna like it, get the taste of it, you don't like it so much. And so I think as we go through life, there's gonna be things that are very bland and leave your mouth dry like flour. There's going to be raw eggs that you're not going to want to eat all on their own. I know he hates eggs. Vanilla's going to smell good, but it's going to actually taste really bitter. Yeah. Oil, I can't imagine just drinking oil on its own. And then, of course, the sugar. But mix it all together, and you've got a beautiful thing to be able to get eating on. So, yeah. Anyways. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us here for another episode of The Sacred Exchange. We look forward to connecting with you again next week. As always, if you have any comments, any questions, or even a topic that you'd like us to go over, by all means, reach out to us at info@compassionwithcatherine.com or drop it in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe.
And give us a thumbs up.
Yes. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care, folks.